Hello everybody and welcome back to Blanche Case Fitness. It's Wednesday and you know what that means. It's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class, and it is week 3 of April Powers. Yeah, anyone who was in class yesterday knows that it was not as strong a start to week 3 as I hoped for, but that's okay because we talked a lot about how even when we're challenging ourselves, we still need to remember how to take care of ourselves. Hi, Steve. Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, and it's a good and important thing to remind ourselves of. But I'm definitely feeling better today, and I hope that y'all are having a good Wednesday. It has been snowing again because, because spring, I guess, just means snow. Not that, obviously I know this. Obviously I'm not surprised by this because I've lived in Colorado for, a better part of 7 years at this point. So I know how this game is played, but it does still crack me up, to be out on a walk with a friend today, April 21st, and be like, yes, and it's snowing. Cool. Guess we should get back inside. So, but a much better day, a much stronger day, and, all the better for paying attention to how I was feeling yesterday and taking that into account when I was working out. So, yeah. Hi. Hi, everybody. It's been a wild and emotional week so far. And we talked about we talked about a lot of that stuff yesterday as well. Obviously the conviction, the actual murder conviction of George Floyd's murderer was a big thing from yesterday, as was the almost immediate murder of yet another Black teenager child by police. So, hey. Stuck in Florida as it's snowing up north. Oh man, what are you doing in Florida? Are you living down there now? Have you changed where you live? I recognize that you and I have not talked in a while. Gotcha. All of my poor, New England native southern sad residents. Y'all can come out to Colorado if you want. It's snowing here too. And it's supposed to be up to 70 by Sunday because, yeah, obviously. But yes, we are in week 3 of April Powers, my friends. And I'm really excited about that, and I hope you are too. I think one of the, obviously this is our really putting the pedal to the metal week, because we've had our first 2 weeks where we really got to get to know the programming and do some ramping up, and so this week we will continue to ramp. So I think what that's going to look like for today is that all of the tabatas are going to be 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So we will have no 20-second tabatas left anymore. And and then next week is going to be a big jump because we're going to get a lot of 45-second tabatas in here. And that's going to be intense, my friends. Yay! But that's what you come here for, right? It is Wednesday, my dudes. True story. Yeah, it's Wednesday. It's gray outside, but not in a bad way. Just in all right, cool. It's still precipitating snow from the sky. I've been having a good, productive day at work. Hopefully any of you who work have been doing the same. And I'd say, you know what? Let's just get started. Some days I have a lot to talk about at the beginning of class, and some days, it's just, we just want to dive in. I will say, though, and I'm going to say this again at the end of class, just as a reminder, If you usually take Functional Home Fitness with me on Friday, remember that it is being moved to tomorrow. So it's going to be on Thursday this week, not on Friday, because on Friday I will be driving to Pueblo to get dose 2 of my vaccination, which I am super excited about. But that means that I'm definitely not going to be teaching. And for any of you who take my Saturday morning class, it is still planned as usual for now. But I am reserving the right to push it to Sunday if I, if I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I've got a fever and chills and all that stuff, then obviously teaching is probably not going to be a good thing to do. But I will keep you posted on that. And I have, hope that I won't have too bad of a reaction to it. But, I want to be prepared either way. So Functional Home Fitness will be tomorrow night, not Friday night. And weekend kickoff will hopefully be Saturday as usual, but may push to Sunday, depending on how I'm feeling. We'll still get all the classes in. Obviously, we're not canceling any classes this week because, we're in the middle of a month-long program. But, just things to keep in mind. Thirsty all day. Well, hey, Fitness Friend is always telling you to hydrate, so that's great. That is great. Oh my God. Okay, before we go too far down that road, let's do our pre-class checklist. So we've got our water in whatever vessel we're carrying it in. We've got our comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you, our mat or mat-sized space on the floor. And if you use a fitness wearable, let's turn that on right now to high-intensity interval training. I don't know. But let's see, that speaker is on, my lights are on, I'm streaming, obviously, so let's get started. Scooching awkwardly over the mat, because we're going to start out, as per usual, with the warm-up. So everybody, on your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as you hear that horn go off, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. Ready? Yeah, there we are. Getting kicked off. Oh man, it's nice to feel like I have a little more energy today. A little bit more. And I'm still probably gonna hold back a little bit because, again, we talked a lot yesterday about rest and the importance of it, and the importance of, having it as a regular component of our schedule so that we don't hit the point of being like, oh, I'm starting to notice myself feeling overtraining symptoms. I'd better take a rest week. If we build that rest in more deliberately, more regularly, then we don't have to get to that point, and we can instead just be more consistent about giving ourselves a little bit of space to heal and to relax and to rest, which, rest, just as important as exercise, my friends. So I'm gonna, I talked yesterday about how I've definitely been not doing a good job of reminding myself to rest. And, it's important to talk about that because it is a really easy thing to convince ourselves that we don't need. And particularly when we feel like we have, finally crossed a hurdle that we were working on, which is definitely something that I have felt over the last few months, just in terms of being able to ramp up the intensity of my own workouts. And, when we feel like we're on that roll, we have a very understandable impulse to not want to interrupt it. And I think it comes from the same mental and emotional place as, being afraid that taking rest will then lead to our not being able to get ourselves back into the swing of whatever we're working on. They come from the same place. And, they're understandable reactions. But, and the fact of the matter is that it's something I struggle with too, It is not, none of this is as easy as going, yeah, just do the thing. Why wouldn't you just do the thing? We can have the best of intentions and the best of advice and still end up looking around one day and going, oh my God, when was the last time I actively gave myself a rest week? And not even necessarily, a week off from streaming, but even just a week of streams where I'm just not going as intensely as I have been. And, I wasn't really able to remember when the last time was. And so the commitment that I'm making here on stream, and I made it yesterday and I'm going to repeat it today, so I'm doubly committed, is to better, more officially scheduling my own rest time so that I can better model that behavior and model how important it is. So I am probably going to do a full-on break from streaming week, probably second week of May, because I want to finish out April Powers, absolutely. And then I think that in terms of my own cadence and making sure that I do get a little vacation time, for lack of a better term, sort of having that no stream week after finishing out one of the quarterly programs is probably going to be the cadence that I work on. So I'll have sort of a rest week from everything, and then going forward I'm going to schedule in and put on my calendar that every 5 weeks or so I will have a week where I am on my rest week. So I'll still be teaching and I'll still be demonstrating, but I won't be doing the whole class. And I still have to figure out what that structure looks for me. Because, I do want to be able to demonstrate things, and that's an important part of teaching on stream. Since I can't be in the room with you to talk about form, I have to, do more demonstration. But sort of bare minimuming the amount that I do. And just, just making that a regular component of class and a regular component of my own fitness behavior, so that you're not just out there listening to me talk about the importance of giving ourselves rest, but you're actually getting to watch that behavior being modeled in real time, and I think that's important. Because the fact of the matter is, I can tell you that rest is important until the cows come home. But if all you ever see is me, teaching day in and day out and doing the entirety of class and never, having a class where I pull back and take it a little easier, then, what are those words really worth if I'm saying one thing but doing another? So that's going to be a really important goal for me, I think, moving forward, is just making sure that I am taking care of myself in the way that I want to help you take care of yourselves. So yeah, we will get that going. And, you know, for the rest of April Powers, I will probably, I'm going to play it by ear in terms of energy levels, because I definitely can tell that I need a rest week. But again, we're in the middle of month-long programming, and we're not gonna pause that, definitely, because I am really excited to move y'all through the rest of April Powers. But I think that this is going to be really important, and it also is going to mean that I am better able to gauge my own readiness for the quarterly programming, you know, so that we don't end up at the next one, whatever pithy name I end up giving it, and finding ourselves in the same situation where, you know, I want to be ramping up and challenging myself in the same way that all of you are, but I'm coming up against the fact that I had sort of already been doing that and had not been giving myself enough rest and rejuvenation time. So it's, you know, I am on the one hand glad that it fell out like this, because it is important to continue to emphasize the importance of rest and listening to our bodies, even in the middle of month-long programming where the goal is to challenge ourselves. You know, and that's still the goal, but we don't lose track of the importance of listening to the signals that our bodies are sending us, just because we are also working on growing and challenging ourselves this month. So just lots of musings, my friends, lots of musings. You know, it can take a while to get things sort of figured out and balanced out, and that's okay. It's so easy to get down on ourselves for feeling like we should have had X, Y, or Z thing figured out fully, and getting frustrated that we're not able to dive into it with the intensity that we want to. But you know what? This is part of the learning process, and it's a lifelong process. So we are not going to get down on ourselves. We're going to do some motivational self-talk, which is something I've been working on a lot the last couple of weeks in particular. I don't know how many of y'all watch the Vlog Brothers YouTube channel, but John Green posted a video in the last week, I think, where he was talking about his motivational self-talk as a mental health tool. And I've been finding it really helpful to just, you know, something he said, he talked about treating yourself like a sports team that you're cheering for. And just being really overly enthusiastic and cheesy about it, and not worrying about it because you're just talking to yourself, you know? We can get really embarrassed about being cheesy, but when you're the only one hearing it, it's fine. So that has been an approach that I've been testing out for myself and finding really helpful, and you know, like legitimately noticing the effects, particularly because when you get into the habit of cheering yourself on during the good days and during the days when you're like, yeah, I'm feeling really, you know, awesome and productive and pushing forward, it is easier to draw on that power on the bad days, you know? So when you have a day when you're getting really frustrated and you are tempted to yell at yourself, it becomes a lot easier for your brain to sort of automatically stop, and then go, no, we're not going to yell at ourselves. We are going to cheer ourselves on. Let's figure out how to cheer ourselves on today, right? So that's been something that I've been enjoying working on, and just enjoying cheering myself on. And we talk about our internal cheerleader in class all the time. We get that cheerleader out at the end of class to really motivate us and remind us of how awesome we are. And so this is just about taking that cheerleader through the rest of our day, basically, and making sure that we're not just busting them out during class, but during whatever we're working on, and whatever challenges we're setting ourselves, or whatever goals we're working on achieving. That cheerleader's there, and we want to get more used to pulling that cheerleader out and being like, yeah, good job, me. You're doing an excellent job. Look at all the things you've gotten done, and now you're resting like a boss, and these are all really great and important things, and you're doing class right now, and so you're working out, which is awesome, and then you're gonna have a nice relaxing shower and a good dinner, and that's gonna be great too, So yeah, it's cheesy as fuck, but it does make you feel better. So let's not be afraid to be cheesy. There we go. All right, coming towards the end, but this is how I can tell that that I am in dire need of more rest, is that I'm starting to get lots of little twingy bits in areas that don't usually twinge, places that I don't usually have any injury map conditions that would cause them to have issues. And now, they're like, hey, I know I don't usually bother you, but I'm feeling some things right now. So that's honestly another really good trick to use to identify if you've been going full steam for too long and need to take some rest. If you're starting to feel twinges, weird pains in areas that you're not used to feeling pain, then that may be a good sign that you're working a little too hard and you need to step it all back and give yourself a little bit of rest. All right. Good job. Good job, everybody. I have a feeling this is going to be a theme for the rest of the week, just because, I started out here, and then of course, getting my second shot on Friday, and making sure that I'm paying attention to whatever process my body decides to undergo as it builds up those antibodies, and making sure that I'm prepared to pull back and be like, okay, I'm gonna take it easy. All right? All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Starting off with our first Tabata. We know the set at this point, 2 exercises. High knee runs, dun, 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 like that. And then our turtle planks. So these are not turtle waves. So just up, jump back to the plank, and then jump forward and repeat, okay? And these are tabatas, so we do get rests, which is so nice. So everybody on your mats. Ooh, I was a lot further along than I thought I was. All right, and remember, first sound does not mean go. First sound means stop and relax. Knock, knock, knock tells us to get in position, get ready, get set, and there we are. So, yeah, for our high knee runs, similar to our flaming scarlets, the goal is to get those knees up above the crease in the hips, okay? But if that's not where you are yet, then the goal is just get your knees up as high as you can. And so what we pay attention to is as we get tired, it gets harder to get those knees up. So we start paying attention to, okay, my knees are sort of dropping down. I need to reset and make sure that I am bringing them up as high as I can. And, you know, actively working on that rather than just sort of going, this is fine. This is totally as high as they can go. All right. Yeah. And again, paying attention to whatever experiences you are having. So, you know, something I'm noticing today is just a little bit of a twinge in one of my knees. So I'm going to be a little more gentle when I do these types of jumping or running in place exercises, okay? And just be a little kinder to myself on those exercises. So these are all things to pay attention to. Now when we're doing our turtle planks, I want you to remember that your shoulders are guiding your body's movement through the jump back and the jump forward. So you need to make sure that they are engaged, that they are stable, and that you're not feeling a lot of wobbliness or instability there, okay? So that is an exercise that really needs you to dig in to that shoulder strength, all right? Yeah, so we're over halfway through, which is always nice. And back around. Remember, you can always modify to push yourself up onto your hands or onto your feet using a hand or letting your knee come all the way down, rolling over it, and then bringing it up. Just make sure that you're working towards being able to just roll straight up onto the feet, because momentum is a huge part of all of the turtle exercises, and it's going to be to your benefit to make sure that you are using it as effectively as possible. And as we high knee run, check in on that core engagement, because that's going to help pull the knees up, and it's going to help keep you in place on your mat so that you're not running all over the place. Okay? All right. Last but not least, So you see how different that is from even just that small pause or the bigger pause there, because then we jump back and we jump forward, and now all of the, we're not doing one cohesive movement, we're doing a bunch of individual pieces. Good job, everybody. All right. Woo! Let's get some water. Let's get some water, my friends. Much better. Much better. And I'm feeling better today too. And it's always good to remind ourselves that no matter what, you're still getting a pretty damn good workout here. Even if you're not able to push to the max the way that you want to, even if you're, just focusing in on bare minimum, like I'm already feeling it quite nicely. All right, next set, and this one, I didn't intentionally trick you, but I tricked you. This one I think is going to be 45 seconds of work to 15 seconds of rest. Okay, and it's our side-to-side mat jumps and push-ups set. So whatever side of the mat we're on, standing on that leg, letting the other leg cross behind us, putting all the standing weight on that front leg, jump to one side. You can let a hand come down just a tap for balance, and then back across. And then for our push-ups, whatever version we want to do, wall, incline off of furniture, plank from the knees, wave push-up, half plank, half wave, just making sure that our shoulders are directly over our wrists and that we're keeping our elbows in by our sides, okay? So yeah, this is gonna be a lot longer, and that's okay. And remember, that sound did not mean go, so we're still resting, and we've got 5 extra seconds of rest, which can throw us off, but there's the knock, knock, knock. So get ready, get set, and here we go. And remembering that our bare minimum goals are starting on time and stopping on time and doing the exercise correctly. So we can start out by just focusing on, okay, I want to keep moving for the entire 45 seconds. That's my first and foremost goal. And everything else I can figure out later. But I want to start with that as a goal. Yeah. All right. How's everybody feeling? All right, knock, knock, knock. Getting in position. And we're off. Remembering that we want to keep that length in our trunk, no matter which version we're doing. So I'm going from the knees, but you can still see
the length, right? Even though I have that bend, it's still mostly a straight line from knees up through the top of my head, okay? And that's what we want to focus on. All right. 2 down, 6 to go. All right, getting ready for these jumps. There we go. And remember, the hand and the foot that crosses behind are both there for balance, basically. So I'm not pushing off of that back leg to initiate the jump. You see this plie, this bend in that front knee. I'm using that to generate the force, all right? So even if I had my other leg off the ground, I could still generate that jump. So that's our goal, not pushing off of the back leg, but giving ourselves all of the power from the front leg. All right. And again. Eventually, you become, and you probably already have, you get this Pavlovian response to all the sound effects where we're like, I could walk up to you and go dunk, 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 and your immediate reaction would be ba-ba-da. It's really disconcerting, quite frankly, to be like, wow, I have been really well trained. All right, halfway through, a good time to check in on that form, because as we get more fatigued, the form is the first thing that starts to get a little wobbly. And so we want to check in and go, okay, is my form as solid as it was the first time I did this? Or am I leaning back on that leg? Or really dropping my weight down on the hand? Or is my jump going in directions I don't mean it to? Because that's another sign. This jump should just be going on a straight axis, basically, back and forth. And if you find yourself, on one jump really far away from the mat, the other jump almost tripping on the mat, then you need to touch base on your form and maybe slow down the reps. That can be a way to address it. It's not the only way, but that can be a good starting point, is just saying, okay, am I pushing for too much speed right now? Does it help if I slow down? Okay? And sometimes the answer is no. Like on push-ups, when I start to slow down the reps, everything just gets immeasurably harder because I become much more aware of the fatigue in my arms. Whereas for these jumps, if I slow down, that really helps me to make sure that I'm like, okay, I'm in position, and yep, that jump was powered by the front leg, and yep, that jump was powered by the front leg, and I can really sort of settle in and focus my attention and make sure, yeah, all right, I am on the same plane each time I jump, and I'm feeling that power generated from that front leg, and the other limbs are just being used as balance. So, yeah, there are a lot of potential ways to address when we're starting to feel a little extra fatigue. Slowing down can be one of them, but sometimes you really do just need to take a pause, you know, and that is okay. We don't want it to be, here's the thing, here's the difficult thing to explain. We don't want it to be our first choice, you know? I don't want to be here doing push-ups and the second that I start feeling fatigue, going, all right, time to take a rest. But if I am trying to push myself through and getting, feeling that it's progressively harder and harder to maintain the form, well, I don't want to keep trying to muscle my way through at the expense of my form either. So, you know, it is a balancing act, and it's an art, not a science. But it is always a viable option if you feel like you're going to lose the form, okay? Because if I've told you once, I've told you a million times, I would rather you give me 2 perfect reps and do nothing the rest of the time than to give me 20 reps with bad form and set yourself up for injury, all right? Okay. Yeah. All right, we're going to do 30 seconds again. Yay. For the next set, we've got turtle jumps and shrimps. All right, so turtle jump, yep, right? And then good old shrimps, moving ourselves back and forth along the mats, like so, okay? See, this is the part in the programming that I really like, because we are far enough in. We've done this program, this is our 3rd week in a row, so we can shave a lot of time off of needing to explain what the exercises are. And that small, you know, just small adjustments like that give us more space to challenge ourselves. And that's what this month's all about, is seeing what new challenges we can offer to ourselves. And, you know, just surprising ourselves, honestly, with what we're able to achieve. And that's what we like to do. Again, we like to give ourselves fuel for that motivational self-talk by just trying new things. And first of all, being impressed by just doing that, and then, you know, recognizing and appreciating our successes, and reminding ourselves that if we don't hit, you know, the immediate mark that we wanted to hit, we have still made huge strides and huge improvements. And that is super important, okay? No matter what, it's super, super important to remind ourselves that to build power, build stamina, and overall improve our fitness. Even the days when we feel frustrated that we're not, pushing ourselves as much as we wanted to, we are still improving. Even the days when we don't feel those improvements and we feel like we're plateaued because all of the improvements are happening on a cellular level and thus are not, available to our conscious mind, they're still there. They're still happening. And we should always remember that. Because no matter what, you are absolutely making strides. And we're not here to, hold ourselves to rigid, unattainable standards of perfection. We are here to enjoy ourselves and to enjoy the strength and stamina and power that our bodies are able to generate, and to appreciate the improvements, but also just to appreciate that we have this capacity, that we have the ability to work out, to move our bodies, and just to sort of revel in the complexity of the human body, because it's fascinating and definitely complex. It's been a while since I refreshed myself on anatomy, and I definitely want to get back into a little bit of studying soon. Definitely need to make sure that I'm keeping up with my continuing education credits so that I don't do what I did last year and end up on a real time crunch to get all that studying done. And it's just fun to remind ourselves of all the things that we can do and all the ways that we can move, and just to appreciate that fact is really awesome and really important. Oh man. Woo! Good job, everybody. Okay, water time. Most definitely water time. Okay. So, let's do another 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, okay? I can hear the cheers from here, all the way from the American South. I hear the cheering. Oh, and I appreciate it. All right. Ooh, pardon me. Okay, so 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. Grab some more water. And next set is jump ropes and turtle burpees. So jump ropes, whether you have a jump rope or not, holding it and just, yep, just jumping rope. Really pretty simple. And then our turtle burpees, up, plank, wave push up, jump, and repeat. All right, so those are our cheering. Pants symmetry. Oh, am I losing my pants symmetry? It's entirely possible. Look, some things we just have to accept are ephemeral, and pants symmetry is definitely one of those ephemeral things. All right, get ready, get set. Yeah. So here again is a good exercise to just get that core engagement in. Not because it's a core exercise, but because it helps to anchor us in place on the mat so we're not like drifting all over the place. Okay? And it anchors the movement of our limbs to a central point, and that is super helpful. So yeah, it's always good to check in on that core engagement and just make sure that it's still there, still happening. Always appreciate the slightly longer rest periods, although they do throw me off because I end up going, have I missed the horn? I didn't think I had, but I feel like I should have heard it already. And then realizing that, of course, I haven't missed it. It's just taking longer to get there because it's a longer rest. And 5 seconds, you really wouldn't think that an additional 5 seconds would have that much of an impact, but it really does. It really does. All right. 2 down, 6 to go. Right? Yeah. There we go. I'm paying attention. It's all good. We know where we are. We know what we're doing. Right? I think. Hopefully. But yeah. I forget what I was talking about. Which happens surprisingly rarely, considering all of the things I'm trying to keep in my mind while we're doing class, you know? Between making sure that I remember the exercise that we're doing and doing the exercise and talking the whole time and listening for our horns. Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that it doesn't happen more often, that I'm like, what the heck was I even saying just now? All right. Woo! Almost pitched head first into the wall just then. That was fun. Yeah. Turtle burpees are always a lot harder than I expect them to be. And part of it is because there are more components to them, you know? And that is something that has a huge impact, but that we don't necessarily think about. So it's like, oh, burpee, it's basically a burpee, right? Just with like a small shift in the rocking back on the shoulders, but it's rocking back on the shoulders, then up on the feet, then jumping back to the plank and doing the push-up. And so that adds a much longer piece into the exercise that we're not used to doing, because the version of burpees that we're used to doing is the version that we do in the warm-ups every day. So it takes more brain power to remind us of what we're doing for turtle burpees. And that extra brain power has just an overall impact. So yeah, don't be concerned that you're like, I don't understand why the turtle burpees feel so much more intense, or if you're worried that you're not able to do as many reps of them. All of that is okay, because all of that ties into the fact that it is similar but not exactly the same, and that it is a slightly longer sequence of events than our regular burpee. Oh man, I think I told you all ages ago, not sure if I have mentioned it in a while, about the time that I heard about a burpee 5K event. And I was just like, well, that just sounds like torture. That just sounds really awful. And I am much, softer on burpees now than I was. At that point, I was still deep in the, burpees are the worst phase of my fitness career. I'm not there anymore, but regardless, the idea of trying to do a 5K's worth of burpees just sounds really, really awful. So don't worry, we will never do a 5K made entirely of burpees. I do want to get back to running, and I have mentioned that, probably just once a week, just to try and maintain it and not going for super long distances initially. But yeah, just trying to see if I can fit it back into my fitness rotation, because I have enjoyed running to a degree at various points, but it is not something that I ever want to do like as a really major part of my overall fitness. And so just finding that balance. Again, everything's about balance. Okay. All right. So we are going to do one more set, 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, okay? To round out the class. And then we're going to stretch, and that is going to be nice. So, hang on, I need more water. Oh, all right. So, our last set that we're gonna do is our flying chickens and front superheroes. So good old flying chickens, thumbs behind your bra straps if you wear a bra. Up in, up in, up in, up in. And front superhero, lying flat on our stomachs, arms and legs extended. Lift up and down, etc., etc. Oh, so this is gonna be our last thing. 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Get back on those mats. This has been a beautifully timed class today. Like, I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. Again, it's one of the things that is helped by the fact that we've been doing the same program the last few weeks. So I don't have to put as much time into demonstrating, but it's still, I feel like timing is something I still struggle with, because I like to talk to you all and, you know, give you more info, give you more tools to work with. And, sometimes I just lose track of time. And, you know, while I want to be able to talk to you all and give you all those tools and that info, I also want to make sure that we're getting enough exercise in these classes. So, yeah, it's a weird balance, and some days I think I do a better job than others, but today has been just fabulously done, and I am pleased about that. I am really pleased about that. And, you know, I hope you are pleased about that too, because it's been a nice, intense class. We've been really pushing ourselves. This is week 3. We have no 20-second intervals left. So we're really striding forward in terms of intensity, and I know that it is really intense, and I always want you to remember how awesome you are and how proud I am of the work that you do in these classes, because you know what? It is a really, really scary thing to dig into a class like this and to, you know, deliberately be like, I am going to burn through a lot of energy, and you know, it is potentially going to feel kind of uncomfortable, and to go from there to then, but you know what? I enjoy the feeling of testing myself. I enjoy the feeling of challenging myself, and I enjoy seeing how powerful I can be, how strong I can be. This is giving us a physical manifestation of our strength and stamina and power. And that is a really amazing thing to experience. And so, even though it can feel intense, and even though we have to be willing to not always feel our improvements right away, I hope that you are still here and just really enjoying the strength and power and the stamina that you have clearly built up over however long you've been taking class with me, but particularly over this last month. Well, 3 weeks so far. Because I am so proud of everything you're achieving, and I hope that you are too, and I hope that you keep on feeling that way. Oh, good job, everybody. Woo! We made it. We made it to the end of class. Let's do some stretching. Just make sure my mat is positioned, because it does have a tendency to wobble around, especially when we're doing jumping exercises. So, all right, let's start. Let's get some nice hamstring stretching in here. So, start taking our legs in a nice wide position. You want to make sure your knees are still pointing straight up towards the ceiling, not caving forward. All right, a familiar refrain, but yes, one that's important. So you may need to engage some of the musculature in the back of the hips to pull those knees out. Or if you're really struggling to keep the knees pointing up safely, you don't have to bring the legs out as wide, okay? That is also very much an option. And let's turn our shoulders, square them to one leg, and fold all the way over. Check back, look at that knee, make sure it's still pointing straight up. Check this quad that you're folded over. Just shake it out a little bit and make sure that it's not clenched, okay? Because again, we want the muscles to be lengthening. And let's just take 4 deep breaths here, all right? Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And now, whichever leg you're folded over, take that same arm, bring it to the inside of the leg. Open your opposite shoulder out, bring the other arm up and over. So you're reaching down towards the toes as far as you can get. We're getting a nice long stretch along the side. And let's take those 4 deep breaths again. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And bring that arm up, bring the torso with it. Deep breath here at the top. And now towards the other leg. So square those shoulders and you want to fold over. So you want the shoulders square towards the leg, not one, twisting outwards. Check back, make sure that knee is still pointing straight up at the ceiling. Shake that quad, make sure that it's not clenched. And let's take those 4 deep breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And now same arm as leg to the inside. Open that shoulder, bring the other arm up and over. Long stretch, reaching towards the toes if you can. And let's take 4 deep breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And back up. You can bring the legs together and just sort of shake out the knees. And let's just bring the soles of the feet together real quick. We'll do that butterfly stretch to close out. Oh my God, look at how long my hair has gotten. I hate it. It's okay. I'm gonna be getting a hair appointment in a few weeks. Oh my God, can't wait. All right, soles of the feet together. We want to fold over, get that nice stretch in the hips. Remember to take that flat back and walk it forward slowly, trying to bring the lower back as close to the thighs as possible to really deepen that stretch. And then you can let the head and the upper back fold over. Shake that neck out a little bit just to make sure it's not clenching. And let's take 4 deep breaths right here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. All right. There we are, my friends. What a good class. Yeah. I hope my pants symmetry didn't bug you too much. But, oh man, that felt really good. That felt really good and definitely ramped up. We got everything up to at least 30 seconds of work, and a couple of them up to 45. And obviously next week is going to be the pinnacle of that. So 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, all around. So when we show up next week, we want to make sure that we're ready for that. We're like, all right, this is the challenge. This is the what we've been building towards over these last few weeks. And I think that you're going to be amazed at what you can do. And I think in particular, not next week, but the week after, when we redo the week 1 versions of all of these, you're going to be even more amazed at what you can do, okay? Because, yeah, we've been working hard. We've been working real hard. And, yeah, you should be proud. And that's the whole reason that we do that last
that final 5th week, the secret 5th week, where we go back and we just redo the week 1 version of the program. And we do that so that you can really feel the difference. Because again, when we're, slowly progressing up in intensity and challenge rating, sometimes you can miss how much you've really improved until you go back to that starting place and go, oh my God, this feels miles different than it did the first week that I did this. Like, wow. And that's where we really get to feel that comparison. And that's important. It's really important to have those sort of object lessons that we can hold on to and be like, okay, I really have done a great job here. So hopefully you can join for the next 2 weeks for week 4, which is the culmination of all of our ramping up, and then secret week 5, where we go, just look how far we've come. It's a significant way. Oh, but that was an excellent workout. It was what I needed in terms of ramping energy back up, which is why we do this class on Wednesdays, so that we can have that opportunity. Now I'd say it's time for our other favorite part of class, which is post-class relaxation. The post-class showers and the offing. Oh man, that's always my favorite part. But so we have 2 more classes this week. Again, schedule is going to be a little funky. So tomorrow, which is Thursday, so Thursday at 6 p.m., not Friday, but Thursday at 6 p.m. is going to be Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. We're doing it on Thursday this week because on Friday I will be getting my second COVID vaccine dose. For now, weekend kickoff is still scheduled for Saturday morning at 9 a.m., but I reserve the right to move it to Sunday if I wake up on Saturday morning and go, oh hell no. So yes, we do still have both of our remaining classes. There just may be some funkiness in terms of when they occur. So tomorrow is definitely Functional Home Fitness. That is assured. And just keep watch on Twitter for updates about the weekend kickoff, and I'll let you know as soon as I know. But yeah, we do still have 2 more to round out week 3, so I hope to see you at either or both of them. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All those handles will be in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all the VODs from these streams, so you never have to miss a class, even if you can't make the live cast. So definitely head over there and subscribe. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I do have a coffee account at Blanche Case Fitness. Your donations are always very much appreciated, or you can subscribe to this channel if you're able to support on a more long-term basis. And if you want to help me keep growing this channel and this community, then please tell your friends, loved ones, coworkers, anyone looking for an awesome class. I stream 4 days a week. We have a great community here, and we are just 3/4 of the way through April Powers, and I'm feeling really proud, and I hope you are too. So everybody make sure to finish off your water, refill it, keep hydrating, get yourself a good dinner, whatever that ends up being. Take that triumphant post-workout shower, and I will see all of you back here again tomorrow night. Mwah. Have a great night.